Gott dienen.
22 from Jerusalem and grandson of a singer of Israel's Declaration of Independence, was a tall, blonde, handsome young man full of love and humor. He went to the Nova Festival in the South together with his friend Hirsch Goldberg Poland. He adored music and wrote his own songs. When the terrorists arrived, Honor tried to escape and ran with his friends to a public concrete shelter meant to protect from rockets with no door. There were over 20 people huddled in that shelter, already petrified. Taking the reins, the young man immediately announced, "I am Aner Shapiro. I serve in the Orav unit of the Nahal Brigade. My friends from the army are coming soon. I'm going to take care of things here, so don't worry." Realizing that tactically the terrorists might choose to throw grenades into that dangerously small and enclosed space, Aner told everyone, "I'll catch the grenades and throw them back, and if I miss any, you throw them back." He then positioned himself at the entrance. He was wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops with no weapons. A very fast runner, he could have tried to run away and save himself, but it was obvious to him that he was going to stay and protect this group, most of them complete strangers. When the terrorists arrived and began to throw in grenades, he succeeded in catching 7 of them and lobbing back many of them. He was fatally wounded by the 8th. Aner's parents, Shira and Moshe, knew he had been at the scene. They desperately tried to find out where he might have been over several days until the news came that he had been killed. It came not from official sources, but from the father of one of the survivors from the shelter, who, seeing that the official system wasn't working to pass on information, was personally calling all of the families of those who had died there. "I wanted to call you because your son saved my child's life. I wanted to say thank you." As the full story of those hours in the shelter emerged us, as one after the other, survivors contacted Aner's parents to tell them of his courage and self-sacrifice. Aner Shapiro saved our lives, and he deserves a Medal of Honor for being an angel who guarded us. For the heartbroken parents, these survivors bring a tiny measure of comfort in the sea of grief. They are getting to know these people who, for the rest of their lives, will never be able to forget the debt they owe to a young man plucked in his prime. From strangers, they are becoming like family.
ונפשי עלי אשפכה על קורותינו המרות עיני זולגות דמעה.
Huda Durashe called Awad Durashe, 23, her hugging son. Even when she was just watching television, he would sit next to her and hug her. That is what she will miss the most. The 23-year-old paramedic was among the 400 young people murdered in the Hamas terrorist attack at the Nova Dance Festival outside of Kibbutz Re'em on October 7th. He could have left along with the 6 other paramedics from Yossi Ambulances, a division of the United Hatzalah, but he wouldn't abandon the wounded he was treating and believed that because he spoke Arabic, he would be able to protect himself and the wounded, said his cousin, Mohammed Durashe, a well-known peace and coexistence activist who works as director of strategy at Givat Haviva. Awad's other colleagues fled as they saw the armed terrorists approaching. They all survived. Maybe Awad was naive or didn't assess the situation correctly, said Durashe, but maybe he did, and nevertheless decided to be true to his medical calling and remain with the wounded. When they found him, he still had bandages in his hands. He was the only one who stayed to treat people. When the shooting became too heavy, the others decided to evacuate the tents, but he was treating one of the injured people and said, "I speak Arabic, I will manage." But he didn't even get a chance to tell his attackers anything, and they shot him from a distance, said Durache. Maybe he really believed he could talk sense into the gunman. Maybe he was a naive soul who thought he could save someone even during that time. Maybe it was bravery and the hard choice he made, knowing that he would pay a heavy price. But he felt he should not leave wounded people. That is the medical oath that he wanted to fulfill. I wish I would have his bravery, he continued. The gentle and giving soul, the one who was always the first to volunteer in the village for whatever task was needed, was buried in his home village of Ixal on October 12th with a full motorcade of 20 rescue motorcycles and 10 ambulances from Yossi ambulances with their sirens sounding, winding through the entire village to the ceremony to his final resting place. In a rare occurrence, the imams from all three of the village's mosques spoke, and the word that kept coming up was Shahid, Durache said. Shahid means martyr in Arabic. While for Israeli Jews that word might conjure up images of suicide bombers and terrorists, its true meaning is a pure soul that goes straight to heaven because of the deeds they did in their life. That is how we understand the word Shahid, how we have been brought up to understand it, and that is how we relate to Awad. A pure soul who didn't lose his humanity, and he refused to save himself in order to save the lives of the wounded.
Amit man. Amit's mother, Rachel, says, "My daughter, Amit, 22, was brave in everything she did. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her mother. When she was 10, her father, David, contracted cancer. Over the years, Amit connected to medicine. At 14, she went to the library, took out medical books, and neglected her other studies. But in the end, she graduated with honors." Amit's sister, Lior, says, "Amit was my little sister. We grew up very close. When our father got cancer, we took care of him, which strengthened the bond between us. When he died, it was just the two of us against the world. She was my best friend. Every memory of her is accompanied by laughter and comfort. Her motto was to live in the moment. She was a lioness imbued with a purpose, saving lives. She was our pride and our hero." Amit's sister, Haviva, says, "Amit awoke in the berry to a barrage of rockets. Her partner paramedic told her to go with him because it was too dangerous to stay. Amit said that precisely because it was dangerous, she was staying. She wrote to us that she was in the safe room, but when she realized they were wounded, she took a paramedic bag and ran to the clinic. In the recordings that Magen David Odom played for us, when she called to report the dead and wounded, they heard her running, panting, and describing the situation while giving instructions to everyone on what to do. She arrived at the clinic at 7 a.m., surrounded by the kibbutz nurse, a doctor, and 2 members of the emergency room who were protecting the clinic. Amit heard gunshots and was in contact with us while treating the wounded. She was told that the area was a war zone and ambulances could not enter. Even though her life was in danger, she kept calm and spoke professionally. A severely wounded survivor said that Amit took care of him for hours. At 1:50 p.m., their ammunition ran out. She wrote that she heard the terrorists were coming back. In a desperate move, I called her. Amit answered and said they shot her in the leg and killed everyone. At 2:15 p.m., when the soldiers entered the clinic, they found Amit with a tourniquet on her left leg and a gunshot wound in the head. Amit's mother and sister wrote these words between the bullet holes in the room where she was murdered. In memory of Amit Man, our little sister, the beloved of our hearts, who was murdered while saving lives, together with Dr. Daniel Levy, Shachar Tazmak, and Itan Haddad, we love you forever and ever.
Ile esgera, ile esgera, ונפשי עלי אשפכה על קורותינו המרות, עיני זולגות דמעה.
You'll find on the information table when you make your way out today the 3 pictures of the 3 heroes who were spoken about, together with cards from an organization called Natal. Natal has been the organization that CBI has been supporting in various ways over the course of this year, including with the proceeds from the Israel Solidarity Concert that our cantor organized several months ago. Natal is an organization that provides mental health services to survivors of trauma in the form of call centers and in-person care. It is a nonpartisan and non-political organization dedicated to caring for people who have experienced things that no one should have to go through and are trying to find their way back to life. Today we are asking that everybody on your way out consider taking a card and after the holiday going to this address, which is the American Friends of Natal, and to make a donation in honor of the 3 heroes that you heard about today, in honor of our collective commitment as a community to be part of the healing. We're going to rise for Hatikva.
Oh